So why did Ron Howard used to think you were on cocaine all the time?
Because I was really high strung. When I'm going, I talk very fast and I talk with a lot of energy. I speak with a lot of energy. And so 30 years ago, it was way less refined. And so we just thought, this dude's coked up, which I wasn't.
Brian is a very sociable person, but he's the most anxious, sociable person I've ever met. I mean, you figure that if someone is anxious about socializing, that they wouldn't socialize as much. But he's actually the opposite of that. I think Brian tends to be more of an introvert than an extrovert, but he acts the part of an extrovert more than being an introvert.
Well, and you said you aren't outgoing, yet you put yourself in situations where you have to act that way all the time.
I am most comfortable when I'm uncomfortable. I feel like I'm getting the most done by disrupting my comfort zone, because I have to rise to the occasion of being, again, not a bragger, but one of the smartest kid in the room. I want people to understand that I understand.
I know it's cliche when you say, oh my God, like, honey, there's no one like you. But I often look at him and I say, there really is nobody like you. You are like an anomaly, because he's so curious. But like, I think what's interesting about Brian is that he also puts action to it. It's not just like questions or pie in the sky, let me wonder. He is literally always trying to be better as a person, be smarter, more empathetic, change his perspective, enter new worlds. But like, never in a million years did I think that I would marry like Mr. Curiosity.
In what ways is Brian quirky?
Well, I think Brian is less quirky than he looks. There's a style to Brian that I think one could describe as quirky. But as a person, I don't think he's quirky. I think he's unique. He looks at the world in a very, very positive way. I'm convinced that Brian wakes up with a smile on his face every morning, just happy to be alive and happy to be in the world. And so the world for Brian is not a foreboding place. The world is an exciting place, and constantly exciting. I just love the fact that there's just no cynicism to him. And that's rare in people. And it's infectious too.
How superstitious are you?
Very. Any penny that is on the ground, I put in my left pocket. I've done that for 30 years. I don't care if I'm riding a bike, a motorcycle, whatever I'm doing, I stop, I turn around and get that penny.
I know that he's got superstition, but he's careful to not express it too often. I think he's superstitious about telling me how superstitious he is.
My version of superstition also interfaces with karma. I'm really karmic. So my outgoing nature is to be friendly, really, really friendly, like overly friendly.
Explain why if somebody screws you over, you'll never address it with them.
I just don't think there's a point. You screwed me over, what are they gonna do? They say sorry, or say sorry a lot of times, but they just revealed who they were, basically. Sometimes being screwed over is just part of the game and doesn't mean you can't get to the goal you've got. It just means that person that you thought was a friend or is an impediment.
You said before that you've been motivated by the fear of not having money. Explain that.
I'm not motivated by greed. I'm motivated more by fear. And fears, I have a lot of fears.
Of what?
Well, you said money. I don't want to have no money. But I mean, there's some people that are much wealthier than I am that still have that fear. They have that thing, that little seed. What else am I afraid of?
Complacency?
Definitely yes. Definitely it would be complacency, atrophy. Like, not physical atrophy, although I don't want that either, but just mental atrophy. That's why I create all these thought puzzles all the time.
He apparently puts a lot of thought into social gatherings that he organizes. Anything you can speak to on what, one of his parties or gatherings entail?
Well, he likes to curate the people that attend his gatherings. It's not random, it's purposeful. Putting people together that he believes will either be stimulating to one another, or that will have the right chemistry, or that will, help produce, a good time together.
Middle of the night, I understand he'll randomly wake you up with ideas that are on his mind.
Yeah, he'll be like, honey, are you sleeping? I'm like, well, not anymore. But he'll wake up in the middle of the night and be thinking about a project or a deal, and he'll just ask questions about it, and then I'll say, but remember this, and remember we talked about this, or remember you found out this, and then he's like, yeah, okay, I got it, and then he'll be able to go back to sleep.